guys, we're live. We are all set up and we are ready to go. So Dr. Serrano is voice calling me right now, which I'm going to have to decline because we're already live. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to message him and I'm going to let him know we're live. There you are. I see you. So send me a join request and I'll pop you right in. If you don't see the way to send it, let me know and I'll send you one. I just know it connects better if you send it to me. So, Robin, hello, darling, on Facebook. It's so nice to see you. So we get to talk to my doctor today. And we're going to chat about a bunch of fun things. So I'm going to send a request to Dr. Serrano, and then he can just connect. And then we'll be off and ready to go. It's Thursday. Hello, we're in.
Hi.
Oh, look at your beautiful garden. I'm totally jealous.
Let me get the better angle. There you go.
Oh, that is stunning. We're just getting spring.
We got out of the hospital and to stay safe and with the contingency that we have, obviously we all know about it. We're staying at home as much as we can, doing a lot of remote work. So that's really the reason why we're doing the live from here. Because we can't do those things in the hospital right now.
We love your natural environment. Look at you.
It's keeping me sane to be around nature.
Well, and it's been a couple of months. We haven't done a live in a few months. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about your clinic, and then we'll go from there.
Well, how are you doing, Dory?
Do you know what? I'm managing good. For me, I don't work outside of the home. So instead of working less, I'm kind of working more because I care for special needs adults. So I don't get days off during the day and I don't get weekends off. So
you're an essential worker.
Yes. For me, it's easy. For Jacob, he has the mentality of a 2-year-old. So he doesn't understand why he can't go anywhere, why day program is closed, and why I'm just so stinking mean. Like, hello.
It certainly has been tough for everybody. But, your work has been essential. And I'm sure that the people that you are helping appreciate it, and their families do tremendously. So you are definitely one of the heroes, the unsung heroes in this whole pandemic that should definitely be applauded. So thanks, Dory.
Oh, thank you. And how are your kids doing? Because I think it's harder for kids to understand.
They're going crazy. So I memorized all the lyrics to Frozen 2. And for the song movie, Frozen 1 is definitely in my repertoire as well.
Nice.
I'm better at tying ponytails now. So it's interesting if there's a lot of positives have come out of this. I'm an optimist, you know me. A realist as well. But
yes.
I have spent a lot of time with my kids. Sophia is my 3.5-year-old, 3 and 7 months, and Nicholas is a year and a few weeks old. So we celebrated his birthday here in the backyard. It was a small little get together between my wife and Sophia. So it was definitely a discreet birthday, but I've been able to connect with the kids. We have been working as a group at Baja in our facilities.
Okay.
We have been taking the appropriate precautions. So, as you all know, I'm the medical director at Baja Group, and we're a group of about 30 specialists that provide medical care to patients from across the globe. The U.S., Canada, Western Europe are our big niches, but we definitely see patients from all over the globe. So, have we been working through the pandemic? Yes, of course. It's our job, it's our calling. We have been taking our precautions, and so as a physician, my job has been to stay with patients that have required surgeries, and we have been still doing elective surgeries that are need-based. So unfortunately, for example, patients that have very bad spines, bad backs, they need surgeries. They're considered elective surgeries.
Okay.
But patients will say, well, this is anything but elective. So we definitely, we try to help as many people as we can. We have been seeing a lot of patients for cancer reasons. As you know, we do immunotherapy. We also have partnered with a lab in Chicago where we do dendritic cell vaccines, and
Okay.
we can spend the whole live talking about that because it's the new way to fight cancer. We have been seeing fertility patients because biological clocks don't stop. Okay, and so it's our job to tell women that are maybe in their mid 40s that it's the time to do it is now. We can't be waiting so long. In addition to that, I mean, like I said, minimally invasive spine surgeries or non-invasive spine procedures have been on the agenda. Just yesterday, we saw a patient from Canada. He said he would be joining, so hopefully he was able to connect.
Oh, yay.
We've seen other patients for orthopedic reasons, hips, knees, things like that.
Okay.
Plastic surgery we had to put on the back burner a little because we had to be responsible. We had to, do our part to control the pandemic. And although a lot of patients that said,
there you go, you're back.
why can't we just have my surgery right now? And so plastic surgery patients were saying, hey, well, right now I have the time to recover. Let's just do it now. But we couldn't, I mean, without breaking the rules or being morally and socially responsible and ethical with our practice, we did shut the door for a little while on plastic surgery procedures because it was the right thing to do, Dory.
Okay.
I think in order for this to be a distant nightmare, we have to all do our part little by little. So that's how we were doing our part. And so, what are we doing to stay safe and to provide a good practice for our patients to come? Well, first off, we've always been sterile practice, so to speak. We're very sanitary. You can see some reviews on our Facebook page that say they can eat out of the floor of our hospitals. But basically, we have been very sanitary about how, when we enter and exit the facilities, that we do a proper triage. We're taking vital signs of everybody that's going into the hospital. And for example, in our main hospital where we do our spine and ortho surgeries, we're triaging patients, and the COVID ward in that hospital is separate from the main hospital.
Okay.
So that is actually a great way to give confidence to patients that they're not next to a COVID affected patient. So we do have wards for that. Our fertility centers, in order for us to engage with patients that want to go through IVF, they have to show a negative test.
Okay.
And along with their companion, the husband, because the husband only has to come once to deposit their sample. Okay, that's all. I mean, they come usually for support, but we encourage right now to avoid doing it.
Okay.
In addition to that, when we do our non-surgical procedures, like the one we did yesterday, we have outpatient centers where we can do those. And what happens there, we provide a safe environment for patients, especially that can be immunocompromised, like cancer patients, to be able to have a procedure and not worry so much about, contracting COVID. Now, is it a possibility? Of course it is. We'd be lying if we said it isn't. But the truth is that if we take the right precautions and we're safe about what we do and how we do it, we can provide medical care for our patients because, medical care doesn't stop just because we're in the middle of a contingency. For some patients don't have the luxury of stopping and just postponing something a year or two. We don't know how long this is going to take. That's the honest response.
So how do we as a patient make that decision with your input? What is essential and what isn't? Because when we talked on the phone this morning, I thought, I'm going to look up what travel recommendations and restrictions are currently. Now, from Canada, they say no unessential travel. So what would be deemed essential, and how do you make that choice? Is this something that I need to have now, or can I elect to wait? And what is that decision based on? Because when you said that back surgery is elective, for someone who's suffering, it might not feel like it's an option to wait.
Correct. That's a great question, and in all honesty, Lori, it's a very, very gray area. Now, we give patients a travel letter all the time, where we are outlining, it's not just it's not like just like copy paste. It's something that we are writing for a patient.
Okay.
Where we're saying who are traveling for X, Y, and Z reasons, and so that they can jump on a plane, for example, from Calgary to San Diego.
Okay.
Air Canada is flying now, and I think WestJet is already. I don't quote me on that one, but I know Air Canada is.
Okay.
So one of the things that we're doing is, once the patient arrives in San Diego, as you know, our MO is that our driver picks the patient up from the airport, comes over, and if they get stopped at the border by Mexican authorities, that letter is also going to be valid.
Okay.
So in addition to that letter, so we write an additional letter, so a second letter for the patient to go back to cross the international border between Mexico and the United States. Now, when we were just in the midst of things, we did have to have some patients travel from Mexico directly to Canada because they were Canadian citizens. And so they're not denied entry into the country, but they have to self-isolate or quarantine for 2 weeks. Okay. And as I understand, Canadian authorities are doing a great job of making sure that people are isolating. So that's a great effort on the part of authorities in Canada. We applaud that. So, having said that, those are some of the measures that we're taking on our behalf. But, what is essential? It's a tough question, in all honesty, Dory. But, it's one that we answer when we get on the phone with the patient and we do our phone or video consultation. Some patients will say, hey, I'm a farmer. My livelihood depends on me being able to perform my job. And so I need to make sure that I can have surgery with you, okay? Because right now I have some time to recover. I have saved a little bit of money to be able to have the surgery. So please take me on as a patient right now, okay? And so from a moral and ethical side, I just don't see how you can.
Oh, you're a little frozen. Hang on, we'll give you a second. I think you'll pop right back up. But for some reason, our connection is slightly sketchy today. We'll give it a second, and if you don't come right back up, we'll pop you out and pop you back in. And we're frozen. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to pop you out, and then I'll send you another request. There we go. And then we'll pop you right back in. So while we're doing Lizzie, thank you. Asking all the great questions. I love you guys. Yay, you're back.
Okay, I don't know what happened there. We're back. So I think I was cut off just when I was saying that, how can we morally or ethically not consider that an essential surgery for that patient?
Yes.
Guidelines are always going to be there, and yes, we have to follow them, but sometimes you have to appeal to the humanistic side of the practice of medicine. And I mean, we've had cancer patients that say, doctor, how can I wait 3 months, 4 months to have my immunotherapy? So we had an unfortunate case of a patient that was doing extremely well, and then the pandemic just hit us by storm. Unfortunately, the case did take a few steps back, but right now we're working to try to get the patient back on track because we're doing a lot of good, and then next thing you know, you have another uphill battle to climb.
Yes.
So we're trying to do our best to definitely screen cases and see, is it really worth you traveling, exposing yourself, your loved ones when you get back, our staff as well. So again, we are taking our precautions. We've had some patients that drove all the way, to Mexico just in order to kind of bypass some of those strict, not travel bans, but I guess the immigration authorities that can be a little more stringent in airports.
Well, and just safety. You're much safer in your car than you are on a plane with 100 people. So for safety-wise, I say drive if you can. Why not?
Yeah. The Pacific Coast Highway is a beautiful drive. It's almost therapeutic and relaxing. It takes you all the way from Vancouver, just basically to San Diego. So, I mean, it's one option. But at the end of the day, like I said, our doors are open selectively, but we are doing what we can to help and to still be an option for people that require certain medical procedures.
So one of my ladies mentioned to me recently she's having a lot of issues with her shoulder, a lot of regular pain, very high pain, and she's really in that debate between how do you know if you need to have a shoulder surgery or if you can get by with some non-surgical pain relief. Could you maybe shed a little light in that direction for us?
So shoulders are a little tricky. Okay, it's not your typical ball and socket joint. It has some variations to it. The short answer is that in order to assess the shoulder, we usually need an MRI.
Okay.
I mean, we'll need an MRI at one point or another. Obviously, a physical consultation is the best, but an MRI sheds a lot of light. Now, I will say my disclaimer, we do surgeries on patients, not on MRIs, okay? But the MRI will tell us a lot of what's actually going on in the shoulder. It's a very busy area, okay? So we have to see, is it a soft tissue condition? Is it a bony issue? What is causing the pain for the patient, okay? And what things that the patient, what activities that the patient is doing are causing discomfort.
Okay.
So one of the first things is going to be an MRI. It's the gold standard. Sometimes you will require an X-ray, but more often than not, an MRI will be of the utmost essence. Now, if your friend wants to have an MRI in Canada and send it to us, we'll go over it. We'll do it at no cost for you. So we'll gladly do it. But the shoulder, I mean, sometimes you can get away with non-surgical procedures that we can do with the light sedation for the comfort of the patient. We can do them in our outpatient center. And there is a very exciting field in medicine now. It's called algology. And you can see more of it on our website. And this is basically non-surgical ways in which we can treat pain. So algology basically means the study of pain. Okay? And so algologist, the doctor, a specialist in pain, we have 2 algologists in our practice, and they are insanely bright people that use their knowledge to try to avoid or prolong surgery as much as possible. Okay? So, for example, we do certain procedures for the spine that we do through what's called radio frequency nerve ablation, for example, RFNA. In the shoulder, we can do similar treatments. In the elbow, in the knee. So these are basically ways that are revolutionizing how we approach some cases, because for some patients we can delay surgery. I had a back procedure like that, and I had it 2 years ago. And Dr. Susie, whom a lot of people will know that have been to our practice, she said, "I'll do it for you, Jorge, with one condition. You have to follow instructions." And we doctors are the worst at following instructions. So she knew that very well. But the honest truth is that I haven't taken one single medication for my back pain that I had, and I was about to have surgery, because as you know, we have a great spine surgery practice. Yes. But me being a physician, I had to put my money where my mouth is, and I said, okay, fine, let's go with the surgery. And then Susie said, wait, hold on, there's an option, and I did it. And I'm very blessed that I was able to I've been pain free for 2 years.
Well, so, and
circling back to your original question, we can do things like that to the shoulder. And so, sometimes it can be with something as simple as physio, okay? Certain physio that you can do can actually help you and get rid of the pain altogether. That's usually the first step that we take, but directed physio. Now, we have a great, the director of physio at our practice, Dr. Alcantar. He is a bright individual. And full disclaimer, my daughter might pop into the conversation.
Oh, I'd love to say hi.
But you want to say hi?
Want to say hi, princess? Come say hi.
Yes, I love it.
Come say hi to us.
Well, did
No.
not miss the opportunity.
Oh.
But say hi to her.
Oh, beautiful girl. Look how sweet you are. I love you.
How old are you?
How many are
In
you?
English? In English? 1, 2, 3. Very good.
Wow.
Okay.
You're so
Well,
pretty.
Say hi to Dory.
Mwah.
Now say bye to Dory because Daddy.
Bye, princess.
Okay?
We love you. Oh, you just made my day.
If I didn't do that, it was going to be an impromptu pop in, and it would have been a little more embarrassing.
That made our day, just so you know. She made our day.
Yeah, well, it's difficult for her not to make another person's day. That smile lights up the room. So where were we? Shoulders. So, Dr. Alcata, our physio director, he's an MD, and he is just fantastic at what he does. And he, usually when we have ortho patients, spine, hips, knees, whatever, we will have them see him so that we can have a directed physio program that the patient can take back to Canada and give it to the therapist and say, this is what my doctor told me to do, and can we follow the protocol? Now we have patients saying, well, I had a procedure with you a couple of years ago, but now my knee's acting up, and he can connect with them through Zoom, FaceTime, or whatever, and then devise another, basically a bespoke program that's a tailor-made suit, basically, so that he can, we can do all that we can to have a directed therapy for the patient, because one of the problems with physio is that we try to get the patient to adapt to a specific cookie-cutter program. That's not the case. Physio doesn't work that way. You have to tailor-make it to the patient. So that's usually step number 1. Step number 2 can be something minimally invasive, like sometimes we can do a testing infiltration with lidocaine, for example.
Okay.
And if we get a complete removal of pain, then we know it's a positive test, and we know that where the pain is coming from. And so that can trigger us to go for a specific non-surgical treatment or a surgical treatment for that matter.
What I really love...
shoulders.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's shoulders in a nutshell.
What I really love about what you guys do in comparison to my general experience with medical care, because I've only ever had the surgery I had with you. I've never had the opportunity to experience surgical care somewhere else. But I've had general health care my whole life. That I have done. But what I really love about what you guys do is that you're not looking at a patient like a number, like a dollar sign. Everything is so specifically geared to that patient, their treatment, what is best for them. When my mother had her heart attack, we did not speak to the cardiologist. He spoke to the doctor spoke to us. When I came to have my surgery with you, not only did I get examined by a cardiologist, that man sat at the end of my bed and we joked and we laughed and we had a real human interaction. I don't think I ever had a real human interaction with a doctor of any sort until I came to your clinic. And to be treated like a real person, I can't describe to you how valuable that is as a patient, to really feel like these people care about me. You treat people like family, and you really, I did really come away with that feeling like I met you and I got to be part of your family. So when people think about medical procedures, that's the last thing that they think of. And for me, I feel like that's the most important part of the experience. And I love that you guys are so eloquently providing that in a way that I didn't even know was possible.
Sure. And, thank you for the feedback, Dory. I mean, it's one of our pillars. We try to be we try to appeal to the humanistic side of medicine. Because it's very easy to, get tunnel vision in our practice. And I know a lot of fantastic physicians in Canada that I've interacted with and our multiple visits that we've had. And, just the general consensus is, we're overwhelmed with work. And so,
Yes.
It's easy to kind of lose that human aspect of medicine, but it's something that we remind ourselves constantly about it, because you have to stay connected with a patient in order to be relevant, because if not, it's just, you're another Google page to a patient, so you have to actually be human to a patient so that they can actually connect with you and follow your guidance, because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. The patient, we're providing guidance, right?
Yes. And honestly, I love that. There's nothing that is more important to me than that. I feel like, at least in Canada, we grow up with this belief that our doctors are untouchable. They're above us. They provide us care. We're not really supposed to question our doctors or ask them to elaborate on things. We all grew up waiting a half an hour for our appointment. The doctor walks in late, doesn't bother to say, sorry, we're waiting, gives you 5 minutes and kicks you out of the office. And you're like, but I didn't even get to say my stuff.
Sure. Yeah, that's, it's a problem with medicine worldwide. There's less and less doctors. The ratios are more tilted against us. But at the end of the day, we all have to do our individual efforts and try to be, like I said, stay connected to the patient. It's something that, we have to remind ourselves constantly, because sometimes when I'm rounding, I can make the mistake, of kind of looking back at things and saying, I should have spent more time with that patient, and so it's something that we have to work on. And, as a medical community, I think that we're slowly, hopefully getting back to our roots in that way.
So I think a great topic to wrap up on would be your Canadian connections. Let's talk a little bit about LifePath Wellness and what's going on there with all of the COVID restrictions.
So a huge shout out for the people at LifePath.
Love them.
They were hit hard because the majority of their work is dental, but they do a lot of health and wellness.
Yes.
And they were shut down for a while. I don't know exactly. Blythe or Terry, who are the managers there, or Dr. Snatic can weigh in on that, but it was a long time. Our trip there in May was canceled, obviously.
Yes.
People have been, pouring out and saying, when are we doing it? When are we doing the seminar again? So
yes.
We're trying to be responsible, working with authorities to be able to do it in a safe manner, practicing social distancing and so on. But I think people need good news, Dory. I think we need things to look forward to. And, being healthy is obviously a good thing. And just feeling good about yourself and knowing that, you're taken care of medically is very important.
Yes.
So we want to make sure that we reconnect with that seminar with LifePath. We've been in touch with them throughout the pandemic, making sure that they're in good spirits. But the truth of the matter is that a lot of the staff that wasn't working was, obviously suffering the repercussions of not working. But
yes.
As I understand, LifePath is a fantastic, very well-knit family, thanks to, them, because it's the core of the people that make up the family at LifePath. And because of them, I think they survived as a group, as LifePath. And so we're thinking about getting back up there soon. I've been in talks as well with the Copeman Clinic, with the medical director there. We're trying to set something up, and another practice in Vancouver as well is interested in partnering with us. And so a lot of interesting things. I think, like I said, I'm an optimist, Dory, and if anything, taking a step back and, kind of observing the woods from afar.
Yes. Well, and I think silver...
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, you froze.
Okay. So it was good, but at the end of the day, it allows you to gain perspective.
Yes.
Okay? So perspective is good, always, and maybe we're going to jump on it a little too quickly, but now we can say maybe we were going to get into a few caveats here or there, and so, gives us a little more time to plan accordingly and to be more relevant to patients.
Yes.
And to be more responsible, to provide more responsible medical care, and do everything that we can so that whenever we we engage fully in this, that we are 110% prepared to see patients from Canada and other parts of the world in a responsible manner. But right now, Canada is definitely looking to be our biggest ally. I mean, we have that partnership with GoPath Labs in the Midwest in Chicago with Dr. Lou. He's our main ally for our cancer center.
Okay.
And very, very bright individual that is, I mean, together we are definitely sure that we're going to be able to help hundreds or thousands of patients to beat cancer.
Well, and I think if there is a silver lining, and there always has to be, because we're the optimists, and this is how we do, I think that the silver lining is that this pandemic has given people the opportunity to reassess and reevaluate what healthcare and medical care means to them. It's given people the opportunity to look at their diets, look at their healthcare routine, look at their exercise routine, and say, you know what, maybe is now instead of 6 months from now, a year from now. And I think it just gave us all the opportunity to slow down a little and reassess. Where are we going? Where are we coming from? What is the ultimate goal? And I think that overall, this will improve healthcare in the long run. I think people will start to see more of the type of care that they want from their medical professionals.
Yes, and also, I mean, just to add to that you very eloquently and beautifully said, I mean, I think we're all at some point guilty of being a procrastinator, putting a few things back.
Yes.
And maybe this has taught us a lesson, a little kick in the rear to say, hey, do what you wanted to do. Visit that family member, say hi to that person, whatever it was, because you never know when your liberties, so to speak, are just snatched from you overnight,
Yes.
And it's been very challenging for a lot of people, and, myself included, with family. I mean, all of my family lives here in Tijuana, and my wife's as well. And it's been very challenging, for the grandparents not to be able to hug the kids, and so on. So a lot of lessons that can be learned. Okay. But, when we go back to the medical side of things, I think just that for us to be responsible, moral, have that proximity with our patients is our mission. And obviously to provide patients with a safe environment where they are going to have the minuscule possibility, or as close to zero as possible, of not contracting COVID. So that's our mission, Dory. We want to stay relevant to people, and we want to make sure that people can understand that our doors are open responsibly. Okay, and we are following the state and federal and local guidelines, and so we are on the COVID task force here for our entities. So, I mean, we are very well informed of what's going on, and we're not doing things in an irresponsible manner. We're taking very, very proper measurements to make sure that our patients are safe. And
we appreciate that. Thank you so much for your time today. And
we're going to... It's our pleasure, Dory. All the girls say hi. All the staff remembers you.
I love your staff. Every single one of them is amazing. You do not employ one person who sucks. I'm just going to say that.
Team effort, Dory. Team effort. I can't take credit for half of the things that happen here.
Well, you are amazing. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll hang out with you again next month.
For making a little space for Sophia. I can see her running around, and she probably wants to see herself on TV. She doesn't understand exactly what happened, but I'll explain. So thank you for putting up with that.
Oh, you're welcome. We love her. Have an amazing day, and you hug and kiss all your family.
Connecting again, Dory. Thanks for giving us that space. Any questions that come up, let us know whenever you want to talk or you want to hang. Call.
Yes.
Okay?
Have an awesome day. Bye.
All right, my dear. Thank you for reaching out. Have a great day.
Bye. Okay, so it's been too long. It was a couple of months since we hung out with my doctor. But I wanted to share that with you guys because people reach out to me from time to time for different medical issues that they have. For my friend who's having problems with her shoulder, people reach out to me about weight loss surgery, about cancer treatments, about fertility treatments. And I will tell you guys honestly, there isn't anyone else that I would recommend that I know you will get good care from. I had my surgery there almost 9 years ago. It'll be 9 years next month. And I have never experienced medical professionals that really care about you after the procedure is done. So even aside from our lives, I was always in contact with my doctor, with Baja Med, if anything arises. Any issues, any problems, I can always call them, leave a message, and within 24 hours, someone will get back to me. So when people ask me, who do I trust? Who do I love? Where would I go? The answer is always Baja Med. 1,000,000%. So I'm going to attach all of their links. If you guys have any questions, if you're curious about anything, if you want to submit questions for next month's live. Have an awesome day, guys, and I will see you soon. I think I'm going to cook something fun. Catch you in a little bit. Bye, guys.